We're about to jump into today's podcast, but before we do, I have a favor to ask you. If you listen to this podcast weekly on Apple or Spotify, could you please follow the show? That would be so appreciated. I'm so grateful for your time and your energy because this will help the show get more traction, which means more people can benefit from it. And if you would be so kind, if you're on Apple Podcast, to leave a review, it would so help the show out. Thank you so much for your support. Let's start the show. My husband is a hottie. Yep, he's literally on fire. He has so much energy, he practically bounces off the wall. He's always happy, he's passionate, he's excited about everything. I love that about him, but of course it also comes with a tendency to restlessness, insomnia, and some ADD or ADHD. When we go see a comedy at the movie theater, he laughs so loud. I think most people laugh because of him, not because of the movie, because it's like a little 4-year-old without inhibition. It's just such a true laugh. He's the life of the party most of the time. He's the big kid at heart, and he loves to wrestle our golden retriever Boomer and play with him for hours. And by the way, every night, as I read in bed, my husband does the robot dance. Yep, with sound. Doo, 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 doo. For my entertainment. Are you picturing it in your mind right now? I have the live version every night. This is the best. He's the yang to my yin. He makes me laugh, he helps me grow, and he keeps me real. He's my constant support. He's truly my best friend. I feel truly blessed and our paths have crossed many moons ago. For these reasons, I intend to make sure his TCM heart is healthy and keeps ticking for a very long time. He gets regular acupuncture treatment from me, the lucky guy. I don't think he knows he's that lucky, but he is lucky. And I make sure his diet feeds his heart and mind. Of course, being French, red wine is a must in our home. The wine is for me, though, not for him, because after all, there's so much dancing or robot dancing one can handle. So in today's episode, I'm diving into TCM Nutrition, specifically focusing on the TCM heart, looking at the symptoms and food recommendations for the 5 main TCM heart patterns: heart yin deficiency, heart qi deficiency, heart blood deficiency, heart fire, and phlegm fire in the heart. Each pattern offers unique insights into how diet can either hinder or support the Chinese medicine heart. And stay till the end because I have a free PDF I created specifically for you. You're going to love it. And today you're also going to get practical dietary tips. Plus, I'm going to share a personal journey on how running a marathon transformed my belief and totally redefined my understanding of the connection of the heart, mind, body, and spirit. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome to AcuPro, a show dedicated to making Chinese medicine and acupuncture easy to grasp and fun to learn. Hi, I'm your host, Clara Cohen. I support practitioners and students like you in changing the world one patient at a time. My goal is to share my passion for TCM and empower you to achieve superior patient care. I love to showcase the amazing benefits of acupuncture because, after all, acupuncture rocks. In traditional Chinese medicine, the heart is connected to the summer season, a time where yang energy is at its peak. Noon is the highest time of the day for yang, and summer is the highest time of yang energy. According to Chinese medicine, summer is seen as a period of growth, joy, play, and spiritual awareness, attributes that align closely with the heart's function in Chinese medicine. The heart not only governs blood circulation, but it also considered the seat of the mind and the spirit. By the way, if you haven't seen my YouTube video on the 5 spirits according to Chinese medicine, I will have the link in the show notes below for you. It's a very popular one because we haven't been taught much about the 5 spirits when we were in school. So let's go back to the summertime, which is a vital time to nourish the heart by avoiding excess heat or sitting in the sun too long, and incorporating heart-supportive foods and activities. We want to emphasize joy, connecting with friends, family, with nature, playing outside, practicing mindfulness, supports also the heart health during this vibrant season. In TCM, the uniqueness of each of us is key to healing. Treatment is always tailored to one's personal characteristic, environment, and stage of life because it changes all the time. But when it comes to TCM nutrition, there are always 4 principles that apply to everyone. First, the importance of eating foods that are in season. This aligns our diet with the natural rhythm of our environment, obviously. The second one is the value of eating local food. Local food is fresher and definitely more harmonious with our surroundings. The third one is practicing mindful eating. I think we have forgotten to chew our food. It's really important to take the time to be aware, to smell, to taste, and to chew our food thoroughly because we want to try to also avoid distraction like working at a desk while eating. And the fourth one is considering our genetic backgrounds and our diet choices. For instance, a first-generation Korean family in the US might be lactose intolerant, reflecting a diet in Korea where dairy is not commonly consumed. Does that make sense? By the way, if you've missed episode 14, where I talked about the food recommendation for the liver patterns in Chinese medicine, I released this one in the spring. I'll have the link in the show notes for you so you can listen to it as well. Now, the Shen or the spirit resides in the heart, according to Chinese medicine. Consciousness, awareness, and spirituality are associated with the Shen, the spirit. It is the aspect of consciousness that experiences emotions, thoughts, and perceptions. Furthermore, it is responsible for a person's emotional responses, including feeling of joy, love, and happiness. So a balanced Shen fosters a sense of inner peace, purpose, spiritual growth, restful sleep, and pleasant dreams. I want to share a personal story with you that is connected to my heart, my mind, my spirit. Years ago, I decided I was going to try to run a marathon. Before I started practicing Chinese medicine, I was in the fitness industry and I was teaching hip hop and aerobics. Yes, hip hop. Yes. And managing fitness club. And I'm not a runner. I've never been a runner. I love to do any kind of workout, but I'm not a runner. And I decided I was trying to challenge myself and run my first marathon, which is about 42 kilometers or 26 miles long. To me, it seemed impossible. How can someone who doesn't run, who's not very good at running, who doesn't really enjoy running, run 42 kilometers or 26 miles? This is mind-boggling to me. But I thought, okay, let's see if I can do this. So I signed up for the Calgary Marathon in Alberta, Canada on July 4th. I signed up in January. So I had about 6 months to train for this marathon. And I went and bought all the books. This was before the internet, and followed what the book said to train. And I started, walking, running until I was able to jog for about 30 minutes. And then each week I was trying to run a little bit longer on the Sundays until I was able to run for an hour. And then every Sunday, I would add up a little bit more until I was able to run for 2 hours. And so if you've ever run a marathon, the training is pretty grueling, but the whole point is to try to see if you can finish by running those 42 kilometers. We arrived in Calgary on July 3rd, and it was a beautiful summer day. It was about 20 degrees Celsius, which is perfect for running. The next day, which was the 4th of July, I wake up and my husband opens the curtains and goes, "Holy crap." And I go, "What's going on?" He goes, "Come and see. It's 5:30 a.m. because the marathon starts at 7 a.m. I look out the window and there is a snowstorm. Yes, July 4th. There was about a foot of snow outside, or 30 centimeters about. So you can imagine I'm going, this is crazy. We're going to have to run in the snow. I was not prepared for snow. I had my rain jacket, but not for snow. And it was -2 degrees, which was unbelievable. I go to the bathroom and then I go, holy crap. My period decides to arrive a week early. I don't know if it's the stress of trying to run a marathon because my period was always very regular, but yeah, it's there a week early. So now I have a period. It's -2. There's snow outside. And my husband is like, "You still want to do this?" And I said, "Well, I trained 6 months for this and we came all the way to Calgary for this from Vancouver. yeah, I guess I'm going to go and do it. So at 7 a.m., I went to the starting line. There was about 1,400 to 1,500 people that registered for that marathon, and less than 700 showed up that morning. I think a lot of people decided, I'm not doing this. So if you've never done this, let me tell you, it is grueling. I started running, and then the snow turned into slush because it started raining. So now I'm just running and it's slush, slush, slush. My feet, my legs, my whole body is so soaked. Not only that, but I had to stop twice to go to porta potties, to go to the bathroom because I had my period and I was bleeding on top of it. Fantastic day. I reach about 36 kilometers. Every so often there was a sign that tells you how many kilometers you've had accomplished already. And I remember looking at that sign that says 36 kilometers and I thought, I can't do 6 more. I just can't continue. I kept running, but I just in my mind thinking I can't. And I was wearing 2 little braids. My hair was braided, 2 little braids. And there was 2 gentlemen on the side of the road and they started clapping and they're like, way to go, Heidi, way to go, Heidi. I guess I look like Heidi. If you don't know who Heidi is, this is a book I read when I grew up. It's from Switzerland and Heidi has little braids. And I thought about it and I was like, they're right. Way to go, Heidi. I come from the French Alps. It totally resonated with me because Heidi was in the Swiss Alps. So I started running and faster and I thought I can do this. I can do this. And at 42 kilometers, I crossed the finish line. They put the medal around your neck and I fell into my husband's arm and I bawled. I started sobbing, like literally sobbing. And my husband goes, what's wrong? What's wrong? Are you hurt? Are you hurt? What's going on? And I said, I'm so happy. This was the first time of my life I cried of joy. My heart was so full of joy, I ended up crying. And what happened after this marathon, and yes, we went back to the hotel room and I took a long warm shower and I was in so much pain. My legs were really, really painful. I was hungry. We went out to eat lunch and then we went for dinner. By the way, my goal was to run under 4 hours and I made it in 4 hours and 4 minutes. So almost. Did I run a marathon again? No, that was enough for me. I did it once. Thank you very much. But the lesson here is I wanted to see if what I thought was impossible would actually be possible. I wanted to see if it was possible to change my belief. I totally believe it was impossible for me to run a marathon. And once I crossed that finish line, the reason why I cried is because yes, of course I finished the marathon great, but because I realized if I can do this, then the sky is the limit. I can do anything I put my mind into. Nothing is impossible. I completely changed my belief and I stopped putting limits on myself, my dreams, and what I think I can accomplish. So the reason I share this is because this is what the heart in TCM and the heart spirit, the Shen, is all about. It's about how you are full of joy, love, happiness, but you also have spiritual growth. And that crossing line, crying after running 42 kilometers, was one moment of my life where spiritual growth was a fantastic moment. So I wanted to share that with you. I hope it inspires you, maybe not to run a marathon, but to see that limiting your belief is not the way to go. Truly feed your Shen, your spiritual heart, with more positive growth because it changes everything. So I truly hope I was able to inspire you with this story. Now let's go into why we're here today, which is to talk about the TCM patterns and recommendation for their healing foods and nutrition. Let's start with heart yin deficiency. The symptoms of heart yin deficiency are usually insomnia with tossing and turning all night, right? We wake up, we fall asleep, wake up, fall asleep. So it's not a restful sleep. There's lots of dreams during the night, as well as poor long-term memory, feeling hot specifically at night, night sweats, red cheeks, a red tongue without a coat, and a thin, rapid pulse. The emotional behavior is usually stress, nervous, irrational behavior that can lead to nervousness. Now, when designing a meal plan for patients with TCM heart yin deficiency, it's important to focus on food that nourish the yin, cools the body, and support the heart. Healing foods are berries, mung beans, oysters, goat milk, cucumber, apple, pears. So a breakfast with sliced apple, a few walnuts, and goat yogurt is a perfect breakfast for heart yin deficiency patients. Or a lunch with avocado. Avocado is very nourishing. It brings a lot of lubrication to the heart yin deficiency, which is usually dry, right? Cucumber is cooling, so avocado cucumber salad or some sushi with it and a miso soup, for example. Seaweed is great for yin deficiency as well. And then dinner, we could have like baked salmon with a tomato and basil salad. See, really nourishing to the yin deficiency. Now, for yin deficiency patients, we want to avoid stimulants specifically. We don't want to stimulate the heart. So we want to avoid coffee, alcohol, or any kind of energy drinks. A lot of people know that I have 3 books. However, many don't that I also offer continuing education online courses. This is actually how I started AcuPro Academy, to support new practitioners. You can choose from TCM treatment for common mental disorders, fertility, pregnancy, thyroid disorders, but also specific ones like scalp acupuncture or cosmetic acupuncture online course. All these are pre-recorded, so you can watch them on your own time. And since you have access to them forever, you can revisit the information anytime you need. You will receive a certificate with your name on it after you pass a multiple choice quiz. And if you're truly not satisfied with any of my online courses, I offer a 7-day money-back guarantee as I stand behind my products and truly, truly want you to benefit from them. So go check them out on my website, acuproacademy.com, and click the TCM course tab on the menu bar, or check out the link in the show notes below. Let's look at heart qi deficiency. Heart qi deficiency has palpitation, specifically when we're anxious. So nervousness, fatigue, mentally and physically fatigue, sweating easily when we're nervous, chest pain, which is brought on by anxiety, a pale face, and a pale tongue. Healing foods are usually more qi-nourishing food like squash, carrots, sweet potato, dates, barley, nutmeg, cinnamon. A few suggestions for the heart qi deficiency patients to eat would be a breakfast with barley or quinoa, warm porridge with dates, and some cinnamon and nutmeg. For lunch, like grilled squash and grilled carrots served with a side of barley and baked salmon. And for dinner, let's say some yam stew with carrot stew and a few more vegetables like spinach. And we could have some cornbread and grilled tempeh. That's pretty good, right? Does that make your mouth starts to salivate? Yeah, me too. Heart blood deficiency is insomnia where we cannot fall asleep easily. It takes hours to fall asleep. So this is what the heart blood deficiency is. And we dream a lot once we fall asleep. Pale face, fatigue, pale tongue, and some anxiety, specifically at night. Worse at night, I would say. There could be some depression as well. So we want nourishing food to the blood, like cooked leafy greens, having royal jelly is good as well, shiitake mushroom or any kind of mushroom, maitake mushrooms, as well as having berries, purple cabbage, beets. This is really nourishing to blood. We want to drink lots of fluids when there is blood deficiency as well. So some ideas for patients with blood deficiency would be having oatmeal in the morning with some molasses, some berries, and maybe some scrambled eggs on the side. For lunch, we could have a beet and purple cabbage soup like borscht with some walnuts on the side and maybe grilled chicken. And then for dinner, you could do a stir fry with lots of leafy greens and serve with some quinoa and maybe salmon. This is what we want to do. We want to try to give ideas to patients to help them figure out what is best to eat. One of the things that Dr. Alex and I talk about in episode 15, I'll put the link in the show note if you haven't listened to it, is that it's easier to add more food to a patient's recommendation diet than to take things away. When we take things away, it's harder to get compliancy. Does that make sense? I think it's such a good advice. So when it comes to heart blood deficiency, we want to add up more fluid in general, and then all the food I was mentioning earlier. The next one would be phlegm fire in the heart. So phlegm fire in the heart means really a lot of mental activity happening with violent behavior, manic behavior, schizophrenia, hysteria, shouting, screaming, being angry. But then going into the opposite, which could be also feeling depressed, feeling down. So we can have a bipolar kind of thing that could happen as well. The patient also feels hot, has tendency to have red face, really, really red crimson tongue with a greasy coat, sometimes yellow coat, and a slippery rapid pulse. So we really need to cool the person down when it comes to all this excess heat, excess fire, and we want to eliminate the phlegm. So we want to have food like dandelion, watermelon, celery, spirulina, seaweed, cucumber, tomatoes, really more raw food that is cooling, asparagus, right? And that also going to drive phlegm. So we want to avoid dairy because that creates more phlegm, red meat, and a lot of alcohol and spicy food because, of course, that creates more heat as well. So when it comes to TCM heart phlegm fire patients, having a smoothie with berries, a pear, and some almond butter would be perfect to start the day. And lunch should be cooling, like a cucumber and celery and tomato salad with maybe baked cod or baked salmon or having some kind of fish. And then you could have stir fry with a lot of greens and mushroom and asparagus. Would that make sense, right? Now let's look at just heart fire. When it comes to heart fire, it's the same symptoms except there's no phlegm. So it's only fire and there's no phlegm symptoms. That means no slippery pulse, no greasy tongue coating, and no depression. It's all the excess fire, the red face, the feeling hot, the rage, the manic behavior, the hysteria. And then we really tailor the diet the same way. We just don't add up any food that is going to eliminate phlegm. So usually we want to cool the person down with citruses, berries, vegetables, cucumber, tomatoes, and watermelon salad. It's perfect for someone with TCM heart fire. We have more patterns when it comes to TCM heart, but those are the main, most common one I see in clinical practice. It truly has been a pleasure guiding you through the TCM approach to heart health. I hope you enjoy my story today. Remember, your TCM journey, whether you're a practitioner or a student, doesn't have to be walked alone. Visit my website, acupureacademy.com, because I have tons of resources, including online courses, PDF, treatment protocol, over 370 videos, and make sure to also grab your TCM Nutrition PDF. It's completely free, and the link is in the show notes below. If you found value in today's episode, please follow the AcuPro Show on your favorite podcast platform. That truly helps me out. And I would be so grateful if you could share this episode with friends or family or anyone you know who could benefit from this amazing wisdom that TCM brings us. Your support means the world to me, and together we can help spread the knowledge that can transform lives using Chinese medicine. So no matter what, keep nourishing your body, your mind, and spirit. Thank you so much for listening, and until next week, keep rocking it using TCM. Please listen to the disclaimer, because the AcuPro Show podcast and material shared through AcuPro Academy, which is a subdivision of Natural Health Sense Incorporated, are designed solely for educational and entertainment purposes. The utilization of information from this podcast or any associated material is at the user's discretion and risk. This content is not meant to replace the guidance of an acupuncturist, Chinese medicine doctor, medical doctor, physician, or any qualified professional, nor is it a substitute for proper diagnosis or treatment. Users are strongly advised not to ignore or postpone seeking medical advice for any existing medical condition with their healthcare professional regarding any health concerns.